When you're talking about FNAF games, one of the first things that people think about is the second game, as it has a lot of different mechanics and is probably the coolest game out of them all, at least long term. And I want to make it in Minecraft, cause I'm an idiot. So the plan is that I want to use command blocks to make a working Five Nights at Freddy's 2 map. Now it should have all the animatronics and stuff, and the goal, well, make a working security system with all the cameras, the Freddy head and so on, make custom animatronics to make it look better, and finally, make it not be completely cursed. This shouldn't be too hard, right? So first things first, we need some references. This is actually when the problem starts, because there's not really any clear way of knowing exactly how the map looks. You got this one, and then you have someone else who did like this. So while there are a lot of different ones, I think I'm gonna base it, at least for the most part, on this map, because this seems to me to make the most sense just. Okay, I stopped the time lapse a little bit earlier because I actually ended up making a custom checkered block, which I'm gonna use for the floor. You can see it gets that checker pattern that is in Five Nights at Freddy's, but also on the side has that perfect texture for all around the wall. So with the help of this block, we should be able to make the pizzeria feel more like the real game. So... and that is every single block put in place. Now this is kind of trippy because of all the small squares, but you're not going to be running around here. You're going to be the security guard over here. Now there's no office or any interior. Please don't make me do a time lapse. Please don't make me do a time lapse. Moment. So let's fix that. No. And boom, there we go. We got all the detail in, or at least all the detail we're gonna add for now. Of course, I'm gonna make some characters, some extra decorations, and all that to make for a great experience for you guys later on when you're gonna play it on my Patreon. But at the moment, the clock is 11 p.m, so I'm gonna go to bed. It's the next day, and it's time to make some animatronics. Now I've got a little bit of an idea already. I think I'm going to use block bench just like in last video. Now if you haven't seen how to make custom mobs, I have a full-on video on that. But let's make some animatronics, shall we? Okay, and after a little bit of messing around, you can see we actually have a working toy Bonnie, and he's actually quite good looking in my opinion. I struggled last video to make the animatronics. If you haven't checked that video, you can check it out right here. But this time it actually went pretty smoothly. And he is a working model. So now let's make Toy Chica, Toy Freddy, the puppet. After 1 hour, a pretty terrible looking balloon boy. And after yet another hour, we also have Mangle. And so after a little while, we now have Toy Bonnie, Toy Freddy, Toy Chica, who has some weird fandom out there, of course the puppet, Balloon Boy, and finally of course Mangle. However, you might have realized that I don't have any of the old animatronics, and that's because I count Mangle as a toy, because it was supposed to be Toy Foxy. But the point is, we don't have everyone yet, but I want to get the basic mechanics going, starting with the cameras. Now, as I mentioned in my last video, a pretty easy way to make cameras is through barriers, putting a few of these up and then having the player be over here. However, later on I actually ended up changing that to being glass, because I feel like glass makes it just so much better.
A few moments later.
Okay, so it's been like 1.5 hours and I'm still debating on how to do the cameras, or it's been like 1 hour at this point. So I'm trying to, there's a lot of cameras, right? And last time I made a system so that you would go into a camera, you would return back to the office after 5 seconds, and that's about it. But with stuff like the music box and the flashlights being able to be used on cams, that's not gonna work now. So I've actually decided to make a full-on special screen. So you can see this right here is a sort of map of the whole thing. It's just supposed to show the basics that you need to know, such as, you know, for example, let's see here. We've got Mangle down here, we got Puppet in the music box, we've got this one over here, which is of course for the Balloon Boy, we've got the stage, we've got the main hall. All these cameras are laid out as they should, and you click one of them and you'll get teleported to the corresponding area. Now at the bottom of every single one of these, or on the side or something, I want there to be a button to, of course, return back. So that's kind of what I want to do. And then also, we'll worry about the music box later. Okay, and all the cameras are now in place. Now I've noticed two things. First thing, these blocks emit light, or they don't emit light, but they let light through, which means I've basically messed up, because it's not allowed to let through light, because that means the whole pizzeria is gonna be bright. So that's the first thing I need to fix. The second problem I realized is that the vents need to be 2 blocks tall for mobs to actually go through, which means I'm gonna have to design another one of these that is transparent, which means, well, mobs are allowed to get through. This way we should have a working vent system, which is of course quite a big part of the game. And there we go. Now you can see you will be able to see stuff, but you are gonna have to turn on the lights for stuff like Foxy and hold on a minute, what? Well, that's certainly interesting. Mojang, I found a bug! The next thing I want to make sure to do is, of course, to make them actually work. Now, how do I do that? Well, of course, through TP commands, but the way to make the flashlight is a little bit more tricky, but of course I already found a way, and I just made that statement just to make you guys excited for my super smart idea. I can use blindness. So anytime the player will enter a camera, such as this one, you will actually get, of course, well, first it's gonna be very dark because you'll have blindness, which looks like this, by the way. And then whenever you hold something, like a certain item, I can make sure that it detects it and just takes away the blindness for as long as you're holding it. So now I gotta figure that out, but yeah, I don't know what to say. Okay, my PC just died. Yeah, it just died. Okay, that's just great, isn't it? Oh. Okay, this has been like a 3-hour adventure because I had to first try to get in the Puppet disk, then I couldn't get the Puppet disk to work, then my PC crashed as you guys saw, and then my video got corrupted. So what I've done now is actually I've got myself a flashlight which doesn't either want to work. That is very concerning. None of them want to work. Oh no. Okay, that was definitely not a risk. Almost my whole pack was corrupt. In fact, it's still kind of corrupt. As you can see, it says tile.fnaf2.flashlight. But at least it works. And we've got the files recovered, which is great. I wouldn't want to do all that again. But it's been a while. But one of the things I've done is this, which is the hub. Now, for those who don't know what a hub is, it's just a command block circuit that's independent on its own, doesn't have to be at a certain place. Now, so far I haven't done that much here. I've just done this, so whenever you're holding the flashlight, you're gonna have the blindness effect taken away, whereas if you have it on, well, you're gonna have a blindness effect. Oh yeah, I also did this. This is pretty nice. Yeah, it's a pretty basic circuit, but I'm not good with these, so let me have my moment, okay? I spent like an hour on this. I've got serious problems. Anyways, the next thing we need to get going with is, of course, making the actual music box work, because, well, without the music box actually working and just a melody playing, it's not gonna be much. Okay, this looks way too complicated, but it's actually not that bad. That sounds like a redstoner, but it seriously isn't that bad. So, what I've got going on currently is that this chest will start with a stack of blocks, which then, of course, as you'll hear, will wind up the music box, but you'll actually have to wind it up yourself. And you do that by, well, pulling the lever. Yeah, hi, editing Echo here. I just wanted to mention that you will not have to spam this lever every single time you want to fill it up. I actually ended up changing it, so all you need to do is hold a music disc while you're here, and you'll be fine. So I'm soon gonna start with actual nights, where it kind of releases them and so on, but for that I still need the old animatronics, also known as withered animatronics. So let's go ahead and real quick make old Bonnie, old Chica, old Freddy, and finally old Foxy. Okay, I'm gonna be fully honest with you guys. I was really excited, but then I realized that this is how the floor looks at the moment. Yeah, we've got a few corrupt files still to deal with, but for the most part it's finished. But the clock is 12 AM right now and I don't want to play anymore today, so it's the next day and everything's fixed. I could you not, I've been working for so many hours on this. Well, this was a little bit of a sidestep, but now everything works. Flashlight's got its texture. I forgot about the command, as it should be, of course. So now that we've finally got all that out of the way, the final thing we really need to do before we start working on, of course, the night itself, is of course gonna be the Freddy head. Now for the Freddy head, as you guys might have guessed, there are very few things that works as well as a carved pumpkin. Like, there's very few things. Like, look at this. That's the Freddy head. So you're not gonna be looking at yourself like this, which means I'm probably just gonna keep it like this, because that works very well. And just a few minutes later, we've already got the circuit going. So whenever you put on the head, you can see your flashlight disappears. You take it away, the flashlight reappears, and it still works. Even though you have the flashlight off, you can see everything's gonna shut off, obviously. And then once you take it off once again, you get the flashlight. Now this is all done through a flip circuit, which is basically a circuit that changes depending on different conditions. So for example, this right here condition is, of course, that you are within the range of 4, you have a pumpkin on your head, and then you can see that once you have it, this command right here will activate, which of course clears you from having the flashlight. And then whenever this actually flips, so it actually isn't on, then this redstone torch is going to make sure that you get it back after you put off the head. Pretty simple circuit altogether, and I'm going to make a full-on video on this exact thing because, well, I had to figure it out for myself, couldn't figure it out from YouTube, but either way. So now we have pretty much all the basic mechanics done. Now all I need to do is to actually make the knights, and then make it so whenever you've got the head on, some of the mobs will just not care about you.
The next day.
Okay. It's been hours, and I mean many hours. I don't know how long I've spent on this map. You probably see it in the editing software, but it is finally done. The map is, for the most part, bug-free. It should be bug-free, but, you know, if you find any, then let me know. But it's done, it's working, and I also put a really cool secret, which just might include that. Now, I'm not gonna go over any specific gameplay. You will probably just see it in a trailer or something. But basically, it's Five Nights at Freddy's 2 in Minecraft, and this will be available on my Patreon. So make sure you go down there and check it out. Now, I don't know if it's gonna be active yet, because I want to give you guys a lot of value, and let's face it, $5 for a map like this, is it worth it? Maybe, but maybe not, because it's Minecraft. So, on my Patreon, you'll find a ton of maps later on. It's basically gonna be the place where you can find all my maps and games that I make, and so for a monthly subscription, you get access to every single one of them. But honestly, I'm so tired right now, and I need to go outside. I need to touch some grass. But the map's done. Hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you did, I'm sure you'll enjoy this one too. This one you can even play for free. This FNAF 1. Really cool map. You can also check out this, which is more of, you know, tutorial style, laid back. You can learn something maybe, instead of just watching me do stuff. But hey, I hope you guys really enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.